Now, thanks to 90 Mile Wines and Anytime Fitness Glenelg, it's Chewing the Fat with Bevan Jones.
G'day and welcome to another edition of Chewing the Fat. Bevo here today down at the Cafe Amore. Beautiful spot here on the corner of Pulteney Street and Perry Street. Get on down and see the guys and get yourself a coffee. We're joined by a man who's doing great things on Channel 9. He's a sports presenter on weekends and also a sports reporter during the week. We see him with Treaders there on Thursday nights doing his thing down at the footy club. It's Tommy Rehn. Tommy, great to have you on Chewing the Fat.
Bevo, thanks so much for having me on. It's a very nice introduction, and I do stand next to Treaders. I have to stand on a table about this high to, try and look half respectable. But no, great to be on board. Thanks for having me here.
Mate, it's an absolute pleasure. Let's talk about your journey. It's been a very interesting one. You are an Adelaide boy, and then you've sort of travelled all around Australia and done different things. We've seen you on Fox Sports and been all over the place, and now you're doing a great job on Channel 9 as well as on 5AA in the mornings from 5:30 to 6. Get on board, have a listen to that if you're awake.
I could cure insomnia for those that are struggling to get to sleep. So if you want to tune in and go to sleep, 5:30 in the morning might be the place to start.
I like it. Now let's hear about your journey so far, mate. How did it all happen? How'd you end up at Channel 9?
Well, I was at Fox Sports, as you said, for about 18 months and had a great time there. I really enjoyed it and still got a lot of good friends there. But just the opportunity to get into reading and, to do the reporting as well was something I really wanted to do. I've never done reading before. So to be able to present on weekends, which I'm still doing, I really thought that was a great opportunity. Prior to that, I worked at Channel 7 for 6 years, and that was fantastic. Great grounding, a lot of sensational people there too, and a lot of good friends. Paul Childs among one of the first who's still at 7, teaching me the ropes and, just that basic writing skill and presenting as well. 7 for 6 years, then Fox Sports for 18 months, and now been at 9 for about 7 years. So it's about 15 years all up that have been in the game and interspersed a fair bit of radio as well. So I just love it. It's a great industry we work in, although it's changed a hell of a lot.
No, it certainly has. And we'll get on to sport, which is obviously your passion. And we saw one of the best wins ever for Australia against England in the first test. Yeah. Down now on that day one, 8 for 122. Along comes Steve Smith, 200s in his first test match in over a year. What an unbelievable effort by him and by the Aussies as well, and our bowlers. They all just did a great job.
It was phenomenal, and you're right. It's one of the best test wins I've seen, certainly in recent times. I reckon the best series I've seen was when I just started in the media. It was 2005, that series when England won back the Ashes, Freddie Flintoff. That was phenomenal, and sadly we were on the wrong side of it. I reckon I saw a great series as well a few years ago where Australia lost to India as well when Steve Smith was batting incredibly well, and I hope this one reaches the same heights. I just hope the Aussies don't think that because they won that first one that it's problem solved. I think Steve Smith probably papered over a few of the cracks. Great win. But like you said, 8 for 122. There's a bit of brittle batting there going at the moment. And I'd love to see Trav Head take that next step. He was really good in that first test. Great to see he made another 100 in the tour game overnight. But I'd love to see him make a big 100 in a test match to really cement himself as a genuine world-class top order batsman, which I think he can do.
Yes, let's hope so. We all love Trav Head as a South Australian boy as well. Obviously, Nick Krygios has been making the news for all the wrong reasons lately, and some people love him, some people hate him, Rennie. What's your thoughts on him? I sort of personally feel as though he needs to win a Grand Slam before he starts carrying on the way he is. But, what's your take on it?
He's frustrating. But what I will say is he's entertaining. You get the full, gamut of emotions when you watch him. You're angry, you love him, you're excited. You're frustrated, you get that whole range with him because he just gives you everything. He leaves it out on court, and I'm loath to smash him because he's so entertaining. But you're right, Bevo, with his talent and with his level of athleticism, he should have won a Grand Slam by now. In fact, I think he probably should have won 2 or 3. He's that good, and I think that's part of the problem. It's a great thing that we're seeing Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal dominate for as long as they have. But they're getting old. It's time for that next generation, like Nick Krygios, to say, move over. And he's good enough to do that, but does he want it enough up there? But I still love watching him play, and I am a fan because as someone in the media, I want people that give us a bit, show some personality. He does that. So that makes me really want to like him, but I do, like the rest of the public, I do get frustrated at times because there's so much there. If you could just channel it, he could be anything.
Yeah, well said. I think that's what everyone thinks as well. He's got so much talent. We want to see him produce that talent, and maybe a coach might be a good start as well.
spot on. And, I mean, someone like Mark Philippoussis is ideal. You know, Mark Philippoussis, who was a similar kind of precocious talent, you know, devil-may-care attitude, probably didn't fulfil the potential that he had. You know, got to a Grand Slam final and was still a great player, led us to a Davis Cup. But I think given the pitfalls that he suffered in his career, he'd be a great mentor. I think he needs a coach to take that next step. I completely agree. Needs a good coach.
Fingers crossed that happens, Rennie. And finally, let's talk about a bit of AFL. It's all happening at the moment. Crows and Port. Could we both see them playing finals this year? What do you think?
I think they're a chance. Given Essendon lost on the weekend, and with their injuries, I think they're both a massive chance to play. Isn't it funny? Last year, 12 wins for both sides, and they finished, I think, 10th and 12th respectively. This year, they could both theoretically have 11 wins and both make it. And I think that's showing that the competition is really tightening up a lot more even this year. I still think only one of them will get in. I think Essendon will find a win on the way. If I had to pick one right now, I actually think Port are probably more likely than the Crows. Just playing a little bit better. And what I saw on the weekend against Essendon, they were outstanding. So I think they're both a big chance, but I can't see the Crows winning more than... they could maybe pinch that game against Collingwood, but I think they'll be lucky to get one on the way home.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting finish, that's for sure, Rennie. But I wanted to actually talk about the Crows before we let you go, because in recent years we've seen so many good players leave the Crows. We've seen Dangerfield, McGovern, you know, Phil Davis. There's been so many. The list goes on. And there's now talk about Jenkins wanting to leave, Greenwood leaving potentially, and also Jacobs and Betts. What's going on down there, mate? Is there actually issues, or is it just a case of guys just wanting to have more opportunity at other clubs?
I think it's a bit of all of that. I think that's the nature of the business now. I think we're going to see more movement, you know, given the free agency rules. I just think there's going to be a lot more traffic, so it's inevitable that you're going to lose players. And we also have to remember the Crows have gotten a few back the other way. You know, they've got Eddie Betts, they've got Sam Jacobs, they've had some rippers come to the club. But you're right, they lost a couple to the expansion club, so I think that was a bit of an anomaly in that sense. And I also think the reason they might lose a few at the end of this year is they're pretty tight for salary cap space. And I think given where their list is at, I think, you know, it might be tough for them to hold a few players because they probably need to free up a bit of money. So I suspect Jenkins might be one of those players that is on his way. And I wouldn't be surprised if Alex Keith and Hugh Greenwood are somewhere else next year too. Hope I'm wrong, but I think that's a real possibility too.
Well, Rennie, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Mate, it's been a pleasure having you on Chewing the Fat. Keep up the great work on Channel 9 and 5AA. Remember, 5:30 a.m, Monday to Friday for Rennie, and on weekends as well and during the week. Mate, you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot, Bevo.
Good on you, mate.
Look
Cheers.
forward to doing it soon.
Thanks again, Justin, for filming for us. See you next time, guys.